What's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today this video is on goalie tips for EASHL and be a pro, mainly EASHL though. Some of the tips, if you use the tips, some of the tips work for be a pro, but like I just said, it's mainly for EASHL. So I'm going to start off with saying I'm not the best at goalie. I don't think I'm the best. I could be decent, but there is times where I look terrible. As you see in the footage, the team that I do play against in the EASHL ends up quitting, mainly because I think it's all my fault, but if you look at the video, it's not really. They gave up a bunch of chances, so you can take that either way. So first I'm going to start off by saying how I use the butterfly. I like to, especially on the 2-on-1s, the breakaways, I like to drop into my butterfly, and I'll show you the list of settings. Butterfly is the right trigger. Let me just grab my controller. That way I have reference. Oh, phone sliding. Sorry about that. Alright. So, butterfly is the right trigger, R2 button on the remote. So I like to wait till the best opportunity is to wait to see what the player is going to do, and this is either a computer or a human. It's hard to tell what they're actually going to do, because the cross crease can be pulled off pretty much like right beside you, and there is times where you can use poke check to your advantage, but I feel like this game is good in a sense for goalie. Like, the controls are alright, but there is times that the controls lag, so if they see me pull the poke check off, I feel like the poke check it's just something that I don't need to use, or I don't use personally, because it's hard to tell you why. It doesn't really help. It hinders, because the controls are so delayed. Delayed is what I wanted. They're so delayed that after I do the poke check, it takes a while for me to be able to do my next control, my next movement. Whether the movement is the sliding or just staying in the butterfly after the poke check. It's just kind of delayed. It's not as fast as what I would like, or it's not as sensitive. So yeah, I like to wait, and you'll see it in the video. Most times I like to wait. There is times in the video where I'm out of position and the goals look terrible, but you'll see as well. Once I get focused in on the puck and what the puck is doing, I end up being alright. So yes, I like to wait for the last opportunity for me to be able to drop down and then slide if I have to. Now you might be saying, well, this is a lot of stuff to think about while you're being a goalie. And while that is true, I don't think it's that difficult. It kind of just like comes naturally with more games you have, or more games you play in EASHL. And there is a big difference between goalie and player. There's a big difference between EASHL and be a pro, is what I wanted to say, not goalie and player. But be a pro and EASHL. And that is, like I've previously said, the computers. Now, in be a pro, you can't really wait till the last minute. You kind of just have to go with the flow. You have to drop into your butterfly early, and you have to get set for the shot. It's all about mainly positioning in both game modes. You always have to be square to the puck. As soon as you become unsquare or not squared up to the puck being centralized to the main, your chest and your torso, as soon as the puck gets favored to more either your glove side or your blocker side, it's hard to get back squared back up. The only time you'd be able to do that is if there's a mistake with the pass. That being if the pass is too hard and it misses the player's stick that it's intended to go to. That's the only time you're going to be able to get squared back up. So you want to try to stay as square as possible, and to do that you have to try to avoid sliding a lot with that right stick. If you flick it one way or the other, you can try it in practice mode. You're gonna go flying off to one side depending on how long you hold the stick to the one side for. So you want to try to avoid using that as much as possible. There is times where I do get caught on the 2-on-1 cross crease and I use that, and that's because if I've got my timing down and I'm able to use it and it's not going to affect the puck either going in or out. You don't want to just be using that to get around with. You want to use your right stick or your left stick, the one you'd move with normally. You want to try to, like I said, stay square to the puck. Make sure that you can obviously see the puck, and that's what the fixed view is I use. It helps me see out front of my crease for the cross creases or the backdoor tap-ins. That's also mainly the only time that I use the sliding in the butterfly is when I know it's going to be there. And then there's times, usually in EASHL, you'll see if I'm not hugging the post, and when I do hug the post, I like to hug in the butterfly. So to hug in the butterfly, you should have read the controls, and if you didn't, go back and look at them, or turn on your PlayStation and look at them as I'm talking. I believe it is butterfly and L1, and then the left stick to whatever side you want to hug. So as long as you're in the butterfly, and you have to hit butterfly first, then when you see your guy drop into the butterfly, you go to the L1. It's also an easier way to defend cross creases because you slide a lot faster, so you can use that if you'd like. I don't, but I figured out that is a good way to defend cross creases. So I like to get in the butterfly, hug the post, but there is times you'll see me cheat, and that's when I'm not hugging the post, and I'm kind of showing the player that has the puck that I'm going to cover your cross crease. And there's players that are not stupid, but they just don't pick up that I'm gonna slide across. Now if you do cheat, you don't want to cheat a lot. You want to also be able to cover quickly, or recover quickly if the guy holds onto the puck. So you don't want to cheat so much to where you're giving up what your move is going to be, and you don't want to cheat too little to where you're still not covering the cross crease. And this comes with good practice. The more games you get into, the better you'll be at goalie. That was some tips for the butterfly. Now, when I'm standing and I'm not using the butterfly, and sorry if I do go back and talk about butterfly stuff, I didn't write anything down, so I'm completely going off the top of my head. So the other times I don't use butterfly is mainly I use butterfly when they're close to me, and close to me is from the last hash mark in the circle. So the closest hash mark to you, if you don't know what the hash mark is, it is the lines on the outside of the face-off circles that are in front of you. So the closest hash mark to you, that's when I mainly use my butterfly. Anything beyond that, I try to stay standing up. Standing up and far out. And I also don't stop using my left stick. I don't stop moving because the moment you stop moving, like I said before, it's hard to get back squared to the puck. So you want to try to keep moving as much as possible. You want to also use your brain and anticipate what's going to happen. So when I'm cheating, I'm anticipating that there's going to be a cross crease. There's a time in this video where there wasn't a cross crease and they held on to the puck. But if you're human, if you're playing against humans, the closer they get to you, after that, the closer they get to you after that last hash mark, when you should be in your butterfly covering the low, that's usually when they're not going to cross crease. So the closer they get to you and the further to the one side, it's kind of weird how I'm going to explain this. So I like to look at it as there's lanes. So there's lanes, and the outer lane, the outermost lane, if they're in that, they're going to usually cross crease. That means they have no angle to shoot, so why would they shoot? They're either going to shoot low for a rebound off your pad. Those are terrible because the way the rebound bounces off, it bounces right to the other player. I know the developers of the game tried to fix that. There is times where it's perfect and it gets played into the corner, but if it's off your, let's say they're coming down the right side, the left side if you're in your goalie view, but the right side if you're the player going up the ice. So I'm going to use it as you're in the goalie view. So let's say they're coming up the left side and they take a shot, and it's a low shot. If it bounces off your right pad, you're pretty much screwed. There's not much you can do if there's a player on the other side of the ice, because the way the puck bounces off, it bounces right to them. So that's mainly when you get screwed. See, but you're also going to see, like I said, if they're further, it's weird. If they're further out, but there's no angle, like they're further away from you, closer to the corner, or closer to the boards than you, and there's no angle, they're kind of by the goal line, they're usually going to cross crease it, so that's when you have to be in your butterfly close to the post, but not really. It's hard. You'll see it in the video footage. You'll see it, and if you do see it, you're actually listening to me, but hopefully you do see it. Yeah, so you want to, it's hard to, it's just easier to look at the footage, but you have to kind of, like I said, anticipate, cheat. Those are my main things. Back to standing up. I like to stand up, like I said, before being in between your blue line and the last hash mark, closest to you. Anywhere in that zone, I like to be standing. And like closer to the boards, further away, I like to stand because it takes away, and especially because I use a 6'5" hybrid goalie, and I only use hybrid because it's a bit of everything, right? So it's kind of equal stats. But especially if you're a really, really big goalie, the further you stand out of your crease, you don't want to stand too far out, because if there's a pass back door, you're not going to be able to get to it. You want to kind of stand just on the red line of the red line, maybe a little bit more, maybe a full foot. If you look at the back of your skate blade, you want the back of your skate blade touching the outside of the crease. The outside being that red line around the outside of the crease. That's where you want your skate to be. That's usually how far I play out. Unless it's a breakaway. Then, like I said, I kind of go as far out as possible. Then I creep back in to try to keep me being big, because you want to make yourself as big as possible to take away the angle. But you want to like back up as they're coming. It's hard. I'll go back into that when I talk about breakaways. But yeah, so I like to stand up, as you can see in the video, mainly last hash mark blue line, just because it takes away the angle, and I'm a big goalie, so it's a big goalie in game. I'm actually not very big in real life, but I'm a big goalie, so the further out the better to take away their angle of the shot. But like I said, you don't want to be too far out, because if they make the backdoor pass, you're not going to be fast enough to get back in. So I want to go into depth about this. Hopefully I don't forget anything. but precision modifier. You might have looked at the controls and you might have been like, what the heck is precision modifier? That is T-pushes. The T-pushes, it speeds you up in the crease. I rarely use that. I feel like it screws me over most times because I'm too fast. I like being slow. I like being more precise, and it modifies your precision. That's what the name of the button is. I like being not clicking it, being slow, being steady, being squared. I do usually click it when I'm in the butterfly and I'm covering a cross crease if I don't flick. If I don't flick that right stick, that's usually the only time that I'm going to use a precision modifier, and it's kind of in combination with the butterfly. That's mainly the only time I'll use it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully I don't think of anything else to talk about. Like I said, the main tip that I would hope you take away from this is just staying square. Not letting yourself be out of position, because in this game, position is everything. Because you're not controlling your arms like you would in real life, so you're not really controlling your blocker and when you catch the puck. So as long as you stay square to the puck, that's usually when you're gonna make a save. And you can tell if you're squared to the puck and be a pro, because the computer will not shoot. And if it makes it easier for you, use that shooting lane thing that they added in, because it also helps you when you're square to the puck. But I don't use it because I hate stuff on the ice. I like just me and the goalie, or me controlling the goalie, nothing else. Yeah, so you like I just said, you know you're square because the computer won't shoot. And in Be a Pro, that helps it a lot because your team can eventually get it off. I know I said that was going to be it for the video, but actually I need to go into breakaways too. I totally forgot about that, so I'll talk about that quickly. I do use Spread Eagle. Spread Eagle is square and down on the left stick, I believe, at the same time. I do use that. Breakaways, you'll see it, and it's also cross creases, because the closer they get to you means the closer the other person has to get to you on the cross creases. So if I can quickly drop down into the Spread Eagle, make my legs as wide as possible, I can hopefully, and it's hard to say when to use it. You'll see I get scored on quite a bit using the Spread Eagle. But there is times where I'm just absolutely robbing them. And if you time it right, almost every time you're going to stop it. Because they're not able to raise the puck up as much as you can. So if you time it to where they're kind of right on the goal line, around that area, you're going to stop them. And I do use it in breakaways. And if you're actually really good with your timing and everything, I didn't get a penalty shot against me. But if you do get a penalty shot against you, if you're good with it, square and up on the left stick sends you into the flying poke check, or the poke check, the flying poke check, whatever you want to call it. It makes you do that move. So if you time it right, you can poke the puck off them and throw it into the corner, and also trip them up into the net. If you time it wrong, the puck slides past you, and it goes in. So, I would suggest playing EASHL. I would suggest not doing a drop-in as a goalie. I would suggest doing 5 games or so as warm-up and drop-in. If you have a team, if you have a team for EASHL, I would suggest doing threes and use one of your teammates. Don't fill your team, but use one of your teammates to play out, and that's what I do on my team. I'll put my team name in the description. I'll put all my team details in the description, and then you're going to be able to join my team or request to join my team. Hopefully soon I'll be doing tryouts for that team to get a little, quite a few more players on. I don't know when I'm going to play next though. But I usually play out, and then my friend plays in net. So yeah, so I was just using one player out, and well, because that way, if you do match my room size and match my goalie, you're always gonna get a human goalie, and you're always gonna get one player out. It is the easiest thing, and especially if you're really good at player, it's the easiest thing for you to be able to play. Because if you're good at player, then you're going to be able to deke around a human goalie, and I'll throw a clip in of a video I took last night when I was playing out. I absolutely dangled this one goalie, and it was hilarious. I think it was probably the best goal of my EASHL career. Alright, so I should have covered everything. Hopefully you liked it. If you did like it, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.